Okay, so we just dropped the camera, so it's part two of our short story that we're only really getting started now. Queens, New York, a veritable amusement park from Forest Park down to Rockaway Beach. A short story written by Lena Jane Lennon, otherwise known as Lynn Ann. Otherwise, go blow it out your ass. Here we go. Happy 4th, friends. More memories of that rocker gal from Queens, New York. 1979, Forest Park. Up in the second picnic area, just outside the Dome parking lot. We cut school, me and Lee. We's gonna hitch to 116, catch some rays, meet some buds up on a bench, Davy K and Tickman. Davy K could play the drums and sing good backup. To Freebird. Tickman got his name because whenever he got in a drunken wrestling match, he hung on the other guy's back like a tick. So there we were. We decided to hitch, me and Lee. We were regular women of the world. Titties and tube tops, bell-bottom blues. But Davy and Tickman were skinny young lads. So they stayed in the side of the road till me and Lee got the ride from a dude named Iggy. He was maybe in his early 30s. Handsome, I thought, in a deranged sort of way. But then again, I was only 17, so what the fuck do I know? Iggy rolls up like he's just won the lottery, flings open the door, and me and Lee stroll on in. But then Davy and Tickman jump right in the back. Iggy tries to disguise his disappointment. Kerouac's here. So's Cassidy. So we're driving down to the beach on this really overcast, muggy day, and this dude, our host, Iggy, who happens to be driving a really sweet little El Camino or El Dorado or maybe Lincoln Continental, some fucking thing, which also happens to have an incredible stereo system, like this killer stereo system that is monster. Iggy lights this gigantic joint of like poison, toxic pot, and within 3 seconds, I am almost brain dead, just not for this. And what comes pouring out of this killer sound system is Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. So you see, I really have to tell you that it all gets so intense. From my experience, it just doesn't seem to make sense. Still, you turn me on. Wow, 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 wow. Now, Christ. We all know the type, this late 20s, early 30s dude who can't somehow relate to women his own fucking age. So he's got to resort to picking up these young broads heading down to Rockaway. So Iggy parks the car right on 116 somewhere. He was partial to Lee. It was obvious. But once we got down there, Lee didn't want to know. But it didn't matter. Iggy followed us down to the sand, offering Lee, "Can I buy you a knish? How about a pretzel?" I found myself infused with feelings of relief at not being considered particularly attractive in this case. Rockaway Beach, 116th Street. The gang's all here. The usual suspects. Everybody except the sun. The sun never really appears that day. The Rockaway sky is just as overcast as the Forest Park sky. The usual comments from the tanning committee. "Well, you can still get color on a day like this today." You can. You can even get a bad burn on a day like today. I know, because the ozone. Right. The ozone still burns through the clouds. What? I don't know. Something like that. Nope. The sun never quite appears, and yet one thing remains burning bright. We just can't shake Iggy. Or at least Lee can't. The man is relentless. His ardor increasing, his passion aflame. All our friends on the boardwalk are like, who the fuck is that guy you came with? Oh, that's just Iggy. He gave us a lift. Jeez, desperado. Yeah, what can you do? What is he, 40? Something like that. My brain is still mushy. Those ELP tunes and the weed. Yet I can't help but notice that Lee has now taken Iggy up on his Knish offer. Me, now you done it. You're gonna have to marry him now. Oh, shut up. Chew, chew, gulp. You shut up. Oh, and by the way, you might want to wipe that mustard off your nose. Not very dignified. Okay, so Iggy is starting to give everybody major schivosa. With a certain capital V. Lee has finished her Iggy Knish offering, and so sated, she now wants him gone. Not so easy, Leezy. I'm laying on my blanket, eyes closed, soaking in those overcast ozone beams. Just minding my own be-eyed business when I hear Lee's demure voice, slightly irate. I'd really like to take a little nap, if you don't mind. Followed by Iggy's seductive drawl. Go right ahead, sweetie, I don't mind. I turn my head, squinting over to take in the following scene. Iggy, totally encroached on Lee's tiny blanket situation, leaning over her, leering obnoxiously. Lee seems on the verge of vomiting, but she's always been the polite one of we two. And I always get to be the bitch. I say, well, Iggy, maybe she minds that you're staring like a rude weirdo and salivating all over her. Ever think of that? Iggy shoots me a look as if to say, hey, bitch, MYOB, I just bought her a Knish, you dig? But Lee is giggling at what I just said, so the Igmeister doesn't say a word in response, but he also doesn't move or cease with the encroachment routine. So Lee gets up to walk down to the water, and Iggy follows. I stay put, just me and the ozone, occasionally squinting to observe as they interact at the water's edge. Lee and Iggy. God knows what they're talking about, but it does seem awkward. He really is a sad sack, that fella. I make a mental note to try to be a more tolerant person. It's a note I will make often. Maybe one day it will stick. Davy plops down next to me, grinning. He's so funny. I love Davy. He hands me a Miller nip. It's frosty. Davy nods toward the water. How goes it with the lovers? Love is complicated, my friend. We clink nips and drink deep. Very complicated. Davy laughs. And how? A couple hours later, Iggy drives us all back to Forest Park. And then none of us ever saw Iggy again. But that was some weed. And that was some car stereo. Man, oh man. Bravo! Thank you very, very, very much.